into effect.
Robert Jenrick.
Appointing Peter Mandelson to our Premier Ambassadorship was always a grotesque error of judgment by the Prime Minister, given everything that we knew about this man. And now we're told that this man leaked confidential information to a convicted sex offender when he was a cabinet minister and took tens of thousands of pounds in secret backhanders. It is a total disgrace. Is the Minister really coming to the House today to say that he neither intends to bring forward primary legislation to deal with this now, but will write to the House of Lords and seek their support to modernise their procedures in months' time, and nor will he go proactively to the police and demand an investigation when Peter Mandelson has clearly broken the law and stands now accused of serious misconduct in a public office and should be tried for his offences?
As I've said repeatedly, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Government will of course cooperate with any investigation that takes place and encourages everybody to do so. We stand ready to introduce legislation if required, at pace, to work with the House of Lords to update their procedures. We agree that that needs to happen and that it needs to happen quickly. And might I just gently say that when the Right Honourable Member was a member of the Conservative Party, at the point Peter Mandelson was first appointed to the ambassadorship in the United States, the official opposition didn't at that point object in any way.
Joanna Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I thank my right honourable friend for his statement this afternoon. Jeffrey Epstein's crimes were utterly abhorrent. And our thoughts should always be with the women and girls whose lives were destroyed by him and his network. And the revelations over the weekend were utterly disgusting. Would the Chief Secretary agree with me that the Cabinet Secretary should undertake an immediate review into Peter Mandelson's actions when he was a Government Minister, particularly in relation to the issue raised by the previous Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, in relation to the potential and unacceptable disclosure of government papers and information when this country was battling a global financial crisis?
I agree wholeheartedly with my honourable friend. The Cabinet Secretary is now today reviewing the government archives to see what information is available at that time, not just in relation to the sale of RBS assets to JP Morgan as requested by the former Prime Minister Gordon Brown, but more broadly during the time that Peter Mandelson was a Labour minister in the then government.
Esther McVeigh.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Well, does the government believe Lord Mandelson should be stripped of his peerage, yes or no? And if they do, they should bring forward primary legislation which would do just that, which they can do. And I'm afraid the Minister's excuse of a queue does not wash whatsoever. That being the case, will they bring forward this legislation for the disgraced Lord Mandelson, their friend? Because if they don't, and he does keep his title, despite Andrew Mountbatten Windsor being stripped of his, what rank hypocrisy? What further can this government do to add further stain to their tarnished reputation?
As I've said repeatedly, Madam Deputy Speaker, neither the Labour Party nor this government seeks to defend Peter Mandelson, as the Honourable Lady implies in her question. The leader of the opposition has herself called for Michelle Mone's peerage to be removed. The point I make is that that can't happen either because the processes are not up to date in the House of Lords. It would be better to bring forward changes to ensure that the rules can be applied to all members of the House of Lords in these circumstances, whether Peter Mandelson or Michelle Mone, and we stand ready to do so.
Andrew Lewin.
Can I thank the Chief Secretary for coming to Parliament at the first opportunity to address this issue. Epstein's crimes were vile, and I can't begin to imagine how all these latest revelations have compounded the pain for all of the women and girls who were victims. Many in this House have already spoken powerfully about our collective alarm at the revelations in the last few days of government information being passed to Epstein in 2009. I fully support the decision to have an investigation, but for public trust, can the Chief Secretary reassure me that the Cabinet Secretary will be given everything he needs to make sure this investigation moves forward at pace?
I agree with my honourable friend, and again to reiterate that if any minister was found to be forwarding government information in that way, they would be quickly removed from post under the rules that we have today and could be subject to recall to their own constituencies from the House authorities here. In respect of the Cabinet Secretary's work, of course officials from the Propriety and Ethics team and elsewhere in the Cabinet Office are supporting his investigations today to review what documents are available in the archive, because the Prime Minister has made it very clear that he wishes for the Cabinet Secretary to report back to him as a matter of urgency.
Luke Taylor.
Madam Deputy Speaker, the files released on Friday are a horrific record of the relationships between the rich and the powerful, including Elon Musk, Donald Trump. We've seen mention of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and, of course, Peter Mandelson. It's horrific, and we, as other members have mentioned, we must keep the victims at the very forefront of our minds. We've seen the discussion of the email that Peter Mandelson sent to him about business issues, and then there's a second one in 2010 where he gave a preview of the £500 billion bailout that was imminent. In light of these, will the government be proactive in encouraging a police investigation? But can I also ask whether they're in discussions with the US Department of Justice for unredacted emails and potentially documents that have been withheld and not released yet to further detail the offending? But also whether he will republish Peter Mandelson's register of interests back from his election as an MP in 1992 through to 2010.
I think, Madam Deputy Speaker, that the question of the register of interest is for the House and not for the government, but I'm sure that the House authorities have heard the question from the honourable member. In terms of investigations, the answer is yes. Everybody, whether the government or individuals involved or with any knowledge, should cooperate with any investigation, because, as he said at the start of his question, if the victims of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes are at the heart of all of our thinking, the answer has to be justice.
Ian Burns.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The latest information appears to show Peter Mandelson, when a minister, worked alongside one of the world's most notorious paedophiles, conspiring against the interests of the British people in pursuit of money, power and influence. Such detail strengthens the case for the Hillsborough law to hold those in power properly to account. Under this law, ministers who use their office to gain a benefit, financial, reputational or otherwise, or cause detriment to others while knowing their conduct is improper, could face up to 10 years imprisonment. It cannot come quickly enough. But can I ask the Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister a simple question? Will the government commit to an immediate investigation into who knew what and when about Peter Mandelson before and during his disastrous appointment as Ambassador to the United States?
Yeah, well said. Can I congratulate my honourable friend for all of his tireless campaigning on the Hillsborough law and reaffirm the government's commitment to bringing that legislation back to the House as soon as possible. In respect of the appointment of Peter Mandelson as the Ambassador to the United States, and then the Prime Minister's decision to sack Peter Mandelson when more information had become available, the Prime Minister has spoken at length to that at the dispatch box here in the House and in public.